Let me know when you're ready to pull the trigger.
Okay. Ready to go.
Okay, I call the HPC commission, or HPC meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Tidmore,
Here.
Commissioner Barry. Here. Commissioner Boisvert. Here. Commissioner Devane. Here. Commissioner Flores. Present. And Commissioner Young.
Here.
None absent.
Okay, we have minutes from January 22nd in our packet. Does anybody have any comments regarding possible corrections, additions? If not, the chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, I second it.
And a second. Any discussion? No discussion, those in favor? Those opposed? We don't have any visitors or public comments, do we?
Not unless,
Staff report?
No staff report, we're gonna, no staff report, we'll talk about, the outreach in just a second.
Okay, so we're at the outreach.
Cool. So I put this on the agenda, partially, we didn't have anything else to do, so, I thought it'd be worth talking more about some of this outreach. I also encourage you to take a look at our website and see if there's anything that can be done there. I know that some of the material on that website is rather dated. I thought, you know, if you folks looked at it and had any thoughts, it would be great. If you didn't look at it, we could look at it together and just talk a little bit, or rather than getting into the nitty gritty here, which is always kind of difficult, we can just sort of look at it, and then you folks can look at it and let us know of any sort of thoughts that you might have. So any way that you'd like to proceed, I think we can do that. Karen, can you pull up the website for us, please? Yeah.
Before the meeting, after, after our previous meeting, I went to the website and I could find nothing about the Historic Preservation Commission. Other than when you put it out, when you send it out in the agenda, I never found anything about it. I mean, if somebody was looking for it, where would they, first of all, where would they be looking?
Well, we can pull up the website here.
Well, okay, but I mean, when you go to the normal, like, portal, you know,
The city portal, so let's pull it up and take a look.
where,
I think that's a good point. I find the way that you get to the information kind of difficult at this point too.
okay. So just let me know what kind of information you're wanting to see. Are you wanting to go to the HPC?
You could just type in right on that search bar right there, historic
The
preservation.
search bar is the most important, link to anything.
See what comes up. So there's a whole bunch of material. Just click on that first one, see what comes up. That's just a meeting.
there's some more info button, when you go back, there's a more info drop down. Right, or read more. Oh, it's the same.
So basically, if someone types in historic preservation, this is a problem.
Yeah.
So we should have, as a priority, a link to, something that tells people who know nothing about historic districts, what the historic district is, its goals, all that good stuff.
Right.
There should be a
That
link.
that material is there, it's just kind
It's
of.
just hard to get to this.
Here's the way to find it. You go to government, and there's your boards and commissions. And here's Historic Preservation Commission.
Well, but
Well,
you have
but they
to
don't
know
care
what
about the meetings, they care about what they need.
Well, this is good right here, but,
How'd you get there?
well, by going to government, I think we should have it so that you get to, it should be like a funnel. You should be able to get to this page no matter what you access, whether it's city government or in the search bar. And the things that are most important is what the district is, a copy of, a link to the Historic Preservation Code, a link to the resources which we saw pop up there. There were some design resources and things like that.
Like this should be pinned in that first spot where you click Historic Preservation Committee. Like this, there should be a link to this page pinned at the top of that other page all the time.
Correct.
Well, like I said, I wasn't able to find this.
And it's because it's difficult to find.
Yes.
And that was a good point.
It's really impossible to, for me, it wasn't possible. I didn't get here until I got,
Some people aren't comfortable just like going willy-nilly through a website. It's much easier if it's, like I said, funnel.
Yeah,
And any door you access should get you to the information.
I guess sometimes you forget how you got here.
Exactly.
exactly.
We've all done that.
All right, let me just. I was just looking at the community links too, just to see if there was anything specifically under those things, but no, not specifically.
And even under buildings, if someone went to buildings, was
Yeah.
wondering, there should be a link in that thing for historic preservation.
well, yeah.
And here's,
Well, there's one in planning, that's good.
Well, I know, but you're right about building, it should be
Yeah.
under building permits.
It should be as wide a net as possible. I mean, it doesn't take any space to put a link after you've clicked onto another page.
Because some people may not know what the Historic Preservation Commission is all about. And so it'd be hard for them to search if they didn't know what it was, or maybe even the name of it.
Were there any other, where were we going with that?
You know, I guess I just, and you know, there's a lot of material on here. I guess what I would appreciate, especially as you folks are wanting to take more of an advocate role for the district, if you have thoughts about how this content can be refreshed, that would be a perfect role for you folks, a great advocate sort of role. And so if you have thoughts like, hey, like scroll down just a little bit, Karen. It's actually way down toward the bottom when you got all the buttons. Like, if you look at some of these things like restoration resources, and you see that, or you go to the helpful links, and you scroll through some of that material and you're like, you know what, this is just not even helpful. If you folks could take a look at stuff like that, or if you tried out the links and you're like, you know what, these links just didn't even work for me, I think that stuff like that would be very helpful.
I looked up, although there's an interactive map.
Well,
Not very many on there though.
right.
I think you gotta zoom in.
Zoom in to get more. And this was brought up last meeting, that some of the commissioners weren't really particularly thrilled with the map. So, is that the way it is?
Oh, shoot, and did I send out a map as part of the?
No.
No,
No. Gee, and you wonder.
But that's okay.
So, are you, go back to the map again, so all those other that aren't the little buildings on there, then there's nothing about those locations?
There was a little.
There was, yeah, if you click it, it has a little,
These are the ones that have the little Monopoly house?
Interactive map.
keep exploring this, I'll print out, a map for you real quick too.
Well.
But-
So, yeah, so,
I have some and they don't.
so here is,
so as you zoom in, you get more
Okay.
Click on
properties popping up.
so here's a property. And then here it pops up and tells a little bit about it,
All right.
current classification.
And that's based on the original survey, right?
I'm not sure which survey it's based
I
on.
know, see, that's a question that I never really get a good answer to.
But
And then you wonder why you're not happy with the map.
Well, it's kind of important,
Yeah, that's my house.
which
Miranda's
survey.
house is on the website.
So, yeah, where's Miranda's house?
Right there. Scroll down below the
My
pictures.
guess is that's the original
Karen, do
survey.
you see the pictures, actual pictures below
Oh,
versus the.
Oh, 92.
Log cabin.
information.
Or wait, and that took us to
And
the
that takes
Pioneer
us to a
Park.
different place.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Oh,
right.
there
Well, okay, so that, alright.
So
Yeah.
exploring the website a little bit for
That's
feedback would be helpful is what we're doing. So now click on Pioneer Park, maybe for information.
No, she clicked on it, she just clicked on our one.
Yeah, it did
No.
take the link to go to, oh, it's all the same thing.
Oh, they're all messed up.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, so that's a good thing to let Fred know.
Well, let's keep it on the screen, so.
I wonder what the purpose is of
Because
just
fine,
those four
all
things
this
being there, and, yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's what you're on the map.
well, yeah, these ones, okay.
Well, there's actually, well, they can only show 4 at a time, so.
That hasn't been changing now, like just click another.
But they could also scroll
I'm gonna
through
find
it.
I'm gonna find her house actually over here. Is this 92? No. There we go.
Okay, so it didn't change, that should refresh down below.
Doesn't say anything about here.
There's mine. There's my apartment right there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's the chocolate version.
Do we have, a travel,
Walking tour.
walking, talkie type,
Oh, walkie-talkie.
not walkie-talkies, but you know, the players, you know, we don't. And does the mill estate, do you have them? Do you have
There you go.
them
I'm
using
sorry.
them?
We found a boo-boo on the website too.
What's that?
We found a boo-boo on the website.
Oh, yeah,
So like right here, it shows under the interactive map.
yeah,
So it has all these different ones and it's information.
Yeah.
So you go to 92 Log Cabin Street
yeah,
It's
and
talks about the park. The
talks about the
is-
park.
Most of those properties pull up park description, and then when you move the map around, it doesn't refresh the properties at the bottom.
Depends on what their purpose of this house is on the bottom word, that was the purpose, so the fact that there's only four.
Intuitively, that's what it is, it pulls up the 4
You can only
closest.
click on one at a time.
Right, and usually a map like that would have an arrow where you could scroll some to go to other properties, but it doesn't appear to have that function.
So yeah, all of that is very good. So I printed this out because I did this like 5 years ago, but I haven't looked at it since I did it. It's been behind my desk this whole time. I apologize, I was gonna print them out and I pulled them down from behind my desk and I had it there as a reminder, and then I was cleaning up my cube and I'm like, I'm gonna put that back up there, and then I forgot all about it, so I apologize. What this map shows is, this shows the parcels from the original historic district that's colored in on the lots. You can see the original designation from 1989 shows what they were classed in 1989, so you can see primary is the highest, secondary contributing second, historic non-contributing is less important. And then you can see the 2012 redesignation, it called out specifically contributing, and that has the light blue boundary around them. And then the eligible significant, where it really calls out the key important properties in the district. And so some of the dark blue that you can see, the church at 3rd and Monmouth, the house that Paul Ritter redid at 10th and Monmouth, stuff like that.
I have a question about the map.
I think it's 10th or 9th, maybe it's 9th.
So if we're looking at a property that is colored either a dark red or the light red, and it does not have either a dark blue or lighter blue border, those properties that are no longer contributing at all, because that's a significant number of properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I don't even see mine on there.
Well, I see a lot where they're red or pink with no blue border at all, which means,
Yes, so I mean, yeah, so some of the ones that you see, that on, like, the building that was right over here, that,
The Black House.
Right on the corner.
well, it used to be on the corner, it had a rotten floor, they ended up tearing it down, apparently there was a rotten floor in it. You can see that was and that's just directly across East Street on this side of the road. That got torn down a while ago. You can see in 1989, that was a secondary contributing building. The old Hop Warehouse where the movie theater is, that was a primary contributing building. You can see things like, there's 2 lots on 5th Street, just south of D Street. There was 2 primary contributing structures on those 2 lots, and both of those were removed, I don't know, probably 20 years ago.
there is some good news on this map. Take a look at how many properties are yellow with a blue border
Oh, really? I wish we.
So
now.
Fred,
Well,
like
I'm looking
my
at,
office building, for instance, the train station, it has the light blue, it says eligible contributing, like what does that mean for me as an owner? Like what does that mean?
No, it just means that, that when they redesignated the district in 2012, it showed that that property was a contributing structure.
it falls under the purview of any modifications that come to
Right, so this is what that's.
type 2 area. But look how many houses, and that's why I'm concerned about the adoption of that 2012 survey, because what standards are people held to on their properties? Whatever survey the city's accepted?
So,
If so, we've got a problem because we've got all these now eligible contributing properties that in the original survey were historic non-contributing.
That's part of the reason why specifically when we rewrote the code, we said if you've got historic character, and you're modifying historic character on your property, you have to come to the Historic Preservation Commission. How we regulated it more with the revised code was based on the district boundary rather than whether something was contributing or not.
So if you're in the boundary and you have, like, you're built before a certain year, then you're contributing, right?
If you're within the boundary, regardless of whether or not you're contributing or not, you're gonna have to go through some level of review.
Right, but whether you're contributing or non-contributing determines whether it's a staff review or type 2 hearing.
Right, that's right. If you're non-contributing and,
So when someone walks in, this is what I'm asking you, you're telling me that you're not really looking at the classification as so much as the structure, whether you,
so if it's within the district, a review is gonna happen regardless.
okay, let me rephrase that question. I'm in one of these properties that was yellow and now has a light blue border around it. Which there are plenty of them.
Why would yours yellow?
No,
No, he's just saying,
This is a hypothetical. Hypothetical.
if
I
you're,
walk in, my house, I'm not saying the
Yeah.
house literally, I'm saying, I'm Joe Average, I walk off the street into your office, and I say, hey, my house is the yellow one here, which in the original survey was historic non-contributing, but now in the second survey, it's eligible contributing. Are you telling me that, I'm trying to figure out exactly how you're handling that. Are you deciding what type of review that goes under based on the most, I don't want to say severe, restricted survey?
I mean,
See, this is.
yeah, I know, and we've talked about this before.
We talked about this a lot of times, and we never get to any like definitive point, and this is big.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's not a little thing.
right.
That's something that you guys are gonna have to have a long conversation down the pike. I just keep bringing it up, and I hope everybody's listening.
Well,
This
just
is-
mail the information to us.
This is a big thing that everybody should be paying attention to.
We
Brought it
have
up.
been.
Yeah,
Well,
but,
it's, nobody's,
so
your
you can,
example hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, that's.
that we know
Well, but, right, so, you know,
of. And it will eventually, there's plenty of, look how many of the
No, I
properties
know,
are
but-
yellow with blue
yeah.
borders.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen, and we should need to know how's that handled. Is it always gonna be the more restrictive classification, or is it gonna be how you're feeling
let me find.
well, no, let's just say right now, it's always going to be the,
Well, I'm asking him how he would handle
Let me read, I'm gonna read the code real quick.
it.
all
Okay.
right, but I can
Stick to the code, man.
Stick to the code.
But it's how the code is written,
Well,
we can't, the code is the code, that's what we go by. And that's what Fred has to go by, but when there's like this big loophole,
So, side note, if I, like, eligible contributing, if somebody wants to paint their home, and they're an eligible contributor, or like,
So folks can paint their home, we don't regulate paint color.
that's right, okay, paint's not a thing, but if they wanna change the siding, windows.
well, paint can be,
And that's whether or not,
paint
as long
can be
as
a
they're
thing.
inside this boundary,
If it's-
if they
if
wanna
it's
do
on the-
anything with the siding or the windows, they need to.
At least have a talk with them. They have to come in and say, I'm gonna do.
If you're
my-
inside the white lines, you need to know Fred on a
Yes.
first name basis,
Right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Okay,
probably not on
or
our.
at least a last name
If
basis.
you're doing something with the property, we would recommend that you,
Here,
that,
okay.
that you talk with us about it.
Okay. I don't understand what the eligible is, like somebody could apply for being contributing.
No, what if?
So so the thing about why things like contributing are so important is because the district was defined based on a certain number of properties that contributed to the district.
If you lose enough contributing properties, your district could possibly be delisted.
Because there's no more district.
If the density goes down far enough, they can say, you've lost too much, that the district isn't viable any longer. Or you need to, like, shrink its borders or something. Okay, so let's see what Fred says when somebody walks in, because
It's good to know the answer.
All right, let me relook one more place.
see, and should be something that, I mean, frankly, you shouldn't have to look up, but I know you're looking it up to give us the correct answer. But if someone walks in, you should know. And I think if I remember the code, it's pretty clear. It's a staff review for certain things on non-contributing.
Staff review basically means spread.
Yes.
Yes,
If it's not staff review, what's the other one? Board review?
it's when it comes to us, it's what they call type 2 hearing. It's kind of falls with land use. I mean, we talked about this at some degree when Jennifer and I brought up things on that Black House, and the things that have been done to it were definitely staff review.
Right.
But things could be done on it where it would be commission review. But what if you get a property, that was not one of the properties that has, that was yellow and has a border around it? What I'm concerned about is the ones that are yellow with a border around it.
Yeah.
And the way I read the code is, you have to go with the survey. Which survey?
Right, and now I'm looking at this.
But it doesn't even.
Why wouldn't it move,
Where does it?
why wouldn't it, if we redid the survey, then why wouldn't we just take the most recent survey?
The city has not adopted that survey.
What, the 2012?
Yeah, we can't do it in the city, actually. I think that's a council action.
That's a good question though, Jennifer.
Yeah, so let me,
Survey and not adopted.
This is, I've
No,
been
no,
asking,
not
I know you have.
Not us.
since before you got here. It's nothing new, and it's a difficult question, I get it, but we've made no progress on the answer, and it's still this limbo area. And you're gonna get somebody that walks in, that's in one of these properties, that's yellow with a blue border, and it's gonna be a problem.
Well, we'll just say we're gonna, that
It's-
if it's on the
It's
map,
it's what our city official says.
Yeah.
well, but if it's
We don't make that decision, and he has to go by the code. And it's,
on the map.
and
Yeah, on the map, that's what you're saying, if it's inside the boundary.
this map is for informational purposes. It's not necessarily determining how your home will be, your property's gonna be
Well,
dealt
then why
with.
do we have it?
Because it's good information to have,
For who?
for anyone.
Northeast.
It's just that, okay, we're obviously not gonna go on here. I'm gonna leave it with Fred to, this is something
Yeah.
that really is a must-resolve issue.
so, what,
Where's the code part that you're looking for?
He was looking for what I've already said, basically.
I know,
So this house that's on the screen right now is one of those houses, yellow with a border.
right,
C and third.
right, and he proposed a change and I brought it to you, so,
but
But that's just because you decided that,
No, so here's how,
and that's fine if that's your answer, if you're gonna make that determination.
here's
Southeast.
I think that the way that we wrote the code actually, misses the difference between this, because what it essentially does is it says the whole area is important, right?
Okay,
The whole area is important. What it says is, additions to a historic non-contributing resource are modifications that change a historic element of a historic non-contributing resource require type 2 Historic Preservation Commission review under such and such. And so if somebody comes in and they've got a yellow with a blue around it, they've got historic resources on their house, they're coming and they're gonna
but
modify.
there are also situations where that house could be modified that would not be commission review.
Potentially, if it's.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's not modifying the historic resource, exactly,
Yeah, or it's not an addition.
or if it's not an addition, yeah.
Right. Okay, so your answer, which is fine, I just wanted to find out how you're handling it, and basically, you're making that call on the spot. And as long as you're in that position, I'd be fine with that every day of the week. But one day, you may grow old and retire.
You might take vacations occasionally, who knows?
No, he's not allowed to take vacations. So what I'm saying is you probably should address this in the code at some point.
Yeah.
That's, that's my point.
Yeah,
Why hasn't it been, okayed for 2012?
So we adopted that, sorry.
We adopted.
Yeah, why wasn't?
I asked that question last time, and one of the answers that Fred provided was, it didn't have a lot of detail.
that's part of it. When you look at the two surveys side by side, and I mean,
Wait a minute, go back again. Okay, what am I looking at?
1989.
So,
and 20.
Karen, can you click on, go back to codes, plans, and maps on the planning page? And when you look at,
There's a lot more detail in the
oh yeah,
original survey because
scroll down to
when
historic
they were copying
preservation
their eyes
resources,
across the
way
middle.
further down, way further down.
District's application.
Yeah, historic preservation documents, then go in there, so look at the 1989. So it goes through, and so scroll down like a ways, perfect. When you look at that, that's like a paragraph written about a building, and everybody can look at this, right? It's on our website. So it talks specifically about the building, it talks about how it was made, it talks about details from 1989. So I love having this because then I can go out to the site and I can see what was there in 1989 when this was written, right? And if stuff is still there, you can tell, oh, look, they commented on that then. That's an important feature. Now compare the other one, Karen, if you would, the 2012. When you compare the 2012, not all of them have,
It's skin and bones.
it's skin and bones.
Yeah.
If I can find that same map.
And it's just meant to supplement or update, it's not a standalone document.
That's the way I felt.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Is like,
No.
it should be, they should be melded, so to speak.
Yeah,
Right.
The descriptions, when they still apply, should be added
Should be
to that.
there.
But that would have to be in some sort of adopting language too.
It would be kind of nice if the two, if there was some significant changes from the 1989 to 2012.
There are
had
some.
been noted. Oh, I see, comment through addition to the west, okay.
But that's it, like, that's all
So
the
yeah, so
information.
here's the same one that you were just looking at in the old original district, and here's the same address, and that's it. That's all
We
it's
just
got.
put it back and forth between us.
I guess the way that you probably do this correctly is when you do the next survey, tell them, use the original survey descriptions when applicable, and then it's just copy and paste, it's not any additional work, and then when that new survey comes in, everybody's happy with the new survey as far as detail, and then it's actually put into play where the code and the survey match. Like I said, with you there, I'm fine with it, the way you're handling it, but.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
Well, there's no reason to redo it each time.
Right, well, unless it's changed.
Unless it's, well,
Yeah,
obviously, unless
Yeah.
it's changed,
yeah, exactly.
you know, then sure,
Okay.
okay. Well, I'm still not happy with this map.
You don't like this, so explain to me what you would like with this map, and I can, because maps are easy to make.
Well, first of all, this, you know, it's a pigeon view of the community, the town, the historic district. And so it's difficult to really see. Now, we're kind of used to it because we keep going over and over and over again. But if you've got somebody
Do you want the street names a little more visible, is
just
that it?
off the street, that and.
Street names would be awesome.
Yeah, the street names aren't very visible, and I think that's kind of where she's getting
That's one of the problems, and, you know, let's make this, useful for everybody, all the folks here. And I would also like to see, just for the record, how many, buildings, not only residential, but commercial buildings, that, we've lost.
Okay. Would you like a breakout of residential and commercial?
I would prefer it, yes.
But that wouldn't be any change in the map, correct?
No,
Okay, that's just some
but that's just
information you want.
other information, because
Other
these are
than the
things that I,
street names, was there anything that was popping out at you on the map to make the map a little more readable?
no, unless somebody else can come up with another idea of,
Well, I like adding
I
the
think
ones that
something
have
on-
lost, that have been lost, the ones that are gone. I mean, the two glaring ones next to me.
you know, for example,
They're
I
still on
do,
here.
I'm sorry,
No, that's okay.
for example, I do know, you were talking about the Hops, building depot, where the, you know, where the movie theater is now, and where they, loaded, the hops onto the rail cars.
So I have a suggestion. Maybe the structures that like that have been torn down or lost through so many changes, they're no longer contributing and never will be. Doing another color like black. Or
Or a black edge on them.
or a black edge,
Yeah.
or crosshatch pattern.
Yeah, something that,
Black edge or a crosshatch would probably be best.
and this is the only way that we could get by it at the time, because I was one of the people that went through that building, and it was, the whole floor was complete. It was mush. And there was just no way that the town could save it. And the only thing that we could think of doing is to go ahead and take photographs of it and go ahead and put it in the theater itself. That's how we ended up getting the,
And obviously, the parcels across the street from here would probably be the same sort of thing.
Right.
Can I suggest on the numbering, like over here in the bottom where it has Fifth Street and Sixth Street are facing different directions. So
Yeah,
Fifth Street, you know, if you had them from Main over to Seventh, like along the south part where nothing is in the district, it would still be easy to follow it up that way. And then
Yeah.
over on the west side, where there's very few things, like we have F Street and going along close to that margin and doing the alphabetical rows. You know, so that it's easy to line up numerical and alphabetical, and then also put a date on
Yeah, I know, like I said, this was 5 years ago.
it. Right.
I've learned a lot in terms of this. I love this program. It's a free program that makes stuff like that. It's Quantum GIS, and I've used it since I started planning, right? And it's a little freeware thing, you can take data from every place, it works just as good as Esri. Esri like costs tons of money, and it's like, this is a
You're the
free,
only one in the room that would say they love a GIS spread.
but it is really idiot proof, like, I mean, I'll be honest. And so like, stuff like this, I didn't realize at the time, like, exactly what you're saying. Now if you look at my maps, a lot of times I'll get the names going the right way. It's the way that is, I can fix that now, I just didn't know how to fix that back in the day. Also, this whole map is canted 2 degrees, so you can see it's kind of skewed to one side. So we'll get it facing more up and down. We'll get a newer aerial underneath it too.
But, the train tracks don't show. You know, they show a little bit down at the bottom of the page, if you know where you're looking, but you know.
Well, I think to get those things to show up, you'd have to do it more soon, and then you run into a problem.
Not enough room.
Not enough room. You probably could get rid of, you probably could zoom a little bit.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Like I say, this was 2019, I just looked at the data. Okay.
But there's just a few things here that, I mean, you've looked at this thing for so many years now that, I mean, you know what it is with your eyes closed. But somebody that's looking at it for the first, 5th, or 15th time, still not comfortable with it.
Is this on the webpage?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so.
And it would not hurt to see if you can.
That would be good to have this on the website.
When he gets it tweaked, probably be a good time to put
So
it
someone
on.
can go, oh, am I in the historical district, let me look at the map.
But make it, where, is there somebody that we have coming up that's one of our students, one of the college students that can, yeah, intern, that can work on these?
I think Fred indicated this is a pretty, what we suggested, are very quick and easy fixes for him now.
I just was thinking maybe some color here, like where the river is, well. Just, so you can look at it and say, oh, I know where that is.
Okay. So
And I'm
you're
just talking
saying,
about myself, but it's, you know, map for dummies.
okay. I will, okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff.
So yeah, but beyond that, I guess, take a look at that website just a little more, and if you have thoughts or if you have resources that you're like, why don't we have these on here? Let us know, and we can make that website look better. It's something that I know is not where it probably should be, but it's one of those things that I don't have a whole ton of time to get to. And you folks are wanting more of a advocacy role, and that would be a good way to do it.
So beyond I know that the city has a Facebook page, do we have other social media, do we have TikTok?
I don't know.
Fred wants to be on TikTok so bad.
Well,
I don't.
you know, no, and it doesn't have to be Fred, you know,
He does though. Have you seen his videos?
I have. But there are, even on Instagram, there's little short reels, you know, like I'm a historic property owner, of course I have to, you know, I have windows that need repair. And then you can have, you know, things flashing across there because attention span has shortened, in the last 20 years. So, but this website is very busy, there's a lot of information, and I think we lose people with that. So when you get things like the reels on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever, if we can draw them in with that quick tidbit, then maybe we can get them to the website where they can get more in-depth information. But right now, we don't have anything like that, and this is so busy and so, like, just all over the map that it's really difficult to manage.
Well,
I wanted to mention something about you all are going to be manning the table at the Pioneer Days, is that correct?
I know it's been discussed, but I know that it's been decided upon.
Okay, so it's in discussion,
what are Pioneer Days?
4th of July.
Independence Days.
I thought we were gonna have a table at the farmer's market.
Or the farmer's market for that. Let me go in the direction I'm trying to go with for any type of situation like that. You should probably develop some sort of flow chart for how a conversation should go. Like, what are the first questions you need to ask somebody that comes up and starts asking you questions? Like, one of the first questions is if they start asking, well, what are the requirements for historic preservation? Well, the first thing you should ask is, what's your address? Okay, and do a flow chart like that and go through and figure out what's the next step in information. A script, so to speak. But the script is going to be variable because it's got to be a flow chart based on the answers you get.
Well, I kind of thought it would be more handouts on the table, not interactive, not necessarily people at that point. In other words, not this, not,
Right.
let me hand this out, but
I
things
should
like
have.
this. And then, things about the Karen Weaver Award and, you know, just a sheet,
Okay, so
5 or 6 sheets.
you don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of things,
Not-
which is fine, that's
not in that.
probably better.
Yeah, no, it would just basically be just, that was my idea. Basically, it would just be, like I said, kind of like handouts. And then if you are interested, at the bottom of each handout, then we could point them right to this
Do a
website.
QR code to the website. I think it would be good to have the map so that they can kind of
But
have
not to
something
hand it out, just to have it
on the
there.
table.
Right.
This would have too many questions in the middle of the farmer's market, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
I like your format better, more of handouts for resources than, okay.
Yeah.
So I feel
Well, then
better
we could
about that.
point them to the, you know, to this website.
Yeah, and by that time, it should be all,
and Curtis is gonna go back and run and be at every single one.
Well,
Well,
it's kind of funny you brought that up. I will mention this is my last meeting tonight.
oh,
we should have brought cupcakes.
Well, we have candy. I did bring candy.
You brought cupcakes.
And there's a few things that I want to remind everybody that going forward. I've been saying that since I've been on the commission for about 8 years now, I guess. Everybody should be doing self-training as well. I'll tell you, Fred is probably too polite to say it, but the city does not have the resources or the time to teach us all everything we should know about historic preservation. They can do basic training, but we should all be reading. And the first thing you should start out with are the preservation briefs. When I first mentioned this 8 years ago, there were 47. There's now 57 or 58.
Where are those?
On the,
Where are those?
they have a link on
Is it there under, here on this page for codes, plans, and maps?
No, it's on the historic preservation page.
If you go to the Department of the Interior Historic Preservation, if you Google that, you'll see preservation briefs. There's like 57 or 58. The only one, I'll be honest with you, one I did skim and didn't pay much attention to, that's done Adobe structures, because
It would survive long.
Well, what do you mean? Why would you?
You'd have to be working on it every year.
So they do have those, and if you read them all once, guess what? They're great reading a second, third, and fourth time. When we were writing the code, there were some of those briefs that I read a dozen or more times. Every time that Fred has a application with a staff report, he refers to those preservation briefs. Because if you look at our code points to those preservation briefs. If you don't like something, and it's not specifically spelled out in code, but it is in those preservation briefs, that is reasonable grounds to deny something or approve something if it's not specifically allowed, because in our code, it points to preservation briefs as this is what we go by.
You can also look at things like the Secretary of Interior Standards, which is a massive document. And specifically look at the section related to rehabilitation, and it's really broken up, really simple, and it talks about what you're looking to do with preservation.
And they even have other documents that tell you how to interpret some of the preservation briefs.
There should at least be a piece of paper when someone joins the council that says, these are the links that you need, do your homework, let us know if you have any questions, right?
If you're not doing 15 to 30 minutes, I mean, you don't have to do it every week, but if you're not doing 15 to 30 minutes worth of reading every week, you're probably not doing enough. That's not a lot of time. If you do 15 minutes a week, that's an hour a month just to read some stuff on historic preservation.
Well, it's a good time to have these conversations since there's, we have a couple applicants for the commission right now. So how do we make them help them be as successful as possible? And even if it is just a piece of paper with some resources on it, because you only have to do that once, right?
Right, I think that's a good point. And one thing that we do with our planning commission, so we try and show them just tiny little videos that sort of raise awareness about a topic. Potentially we can do stuff like that. Potentially we can find one where somebody's talking brief about like the preservation briefs and where you can find them. And, or we can just spend some time searching around the website so you can see where they're at.
And you can even call SHPO, and they would help you locate resources to read.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to do your continuing education on your own because you need to. We can't wait to have it spoon-fed to us.
Are you going to join district reservation
No,
up there?
I didn't hear what she said.
if I was joining the Historic Preservation Commission up there, the answer was no.
Well, can we get back to getting maybe a little bit more together about a table at the farmer's market? No?
It sounds like
That would be Saturdays, probably, because that's when the market is, and like an hour, like on a Saturday, whoever.
That's gonna be more than
And how often, and then, paying for the table and.
Yeah, well, that's what, to talk about that kind of stuff, like, would the city pay for the table and make the copies and put the chairs out so we show up and hand things out?
I don't know what our policy is about that. I don't know I don't know how much a table costs or anything.
I think it would make more sense to maybe do it on Pioneer Days.
No,
Because
that's
it's
too
one
much,
time.
I know, but that's too much happening. I mean, people are all, I mean, they're gonna wanna see the parade, they're gonna wanna see the, you know, look, if we really have a carnival here, they're gonna wanna see all that stuff, you know? Whereas,
And I
if you
really,
go to the farmer's market, I don't know if you've ever done that, you know, that's really laid back, you know, people aren't like searching for excitement, so to speak.
But there's also two different ones too, so do you?
Well, there's,
You
you
know,
know, but I was thinking of the one by the fountain, because the fountain one isn't as food oriented as the one by the bank.
Yeah.
You know, the bank is mostly food.
Is that something that you would be willing to do on Saturdays?
I would be willing to do some Saturdays, I'm not saying I would be willing, but if we did it like, I don't know, like once a month, you know, on a Saturday or something like that, I could do 11 o'clock, or say 11 until 12, you know, if we had like a schedule or something. So what does everybody think about that?
I'm not gonna be here, so.
Well, I'm not, right, I understand that, yeah. And then as, you know, as we as we do it, then we'll get feedback about what we're doing, and, you know, people will probably say things to us, you know, and then we can turn around and talk about that stuff in our next meeting, you know, like people have questions about things. What particular questions do they have, and how we can answer those kinds of questions without, if there's only one or two people at our table sitting there, we can't just, we're not giving counseling to, you know, people that are coming, we're just basically handing things out,
Resources.
you know.
Yeah.
But then if, you know, if all of a sudden there's 25 people that come and have the same kind of questions, then at the next meeting, you know, that's a area of interest.
Sure.
Well, I need to see, well, you and I don't talk all the time, but I need to hear what's going, what we need to present first before I commit a commitment.
I can't hear you.
About the materials that you'll present, she wants kind of a plan of what you're gonna do before you actually start committing the time.
Well, like I said, I was thinking of like we have, you know, like we have 5 or 6 sheets of various different things.
So my suggestion is, at the next meeting, everybody come with their list of things that they think would be good, and then you guys could pare it down to.
And also it would be not necessarily talking to, wanting feedback. In other words, we're handing these sheets out and that's it. We're not giving counseling to anybody or anything like that.
Well, and if they ask questions, then we know where to direct them, we need to talk to them.
And
Well,
Or like there's that information is on the website.
well, that's on the bottom of every.
You want to be helpful, right?
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we don't want to be somebody hogging up the whole time. And maybe we'll only do it for like 2 or 3 hours on Saturday.
It has to be something that's consistent, I would say. If you're gonna do something, it needs to be consistent.
Agreed. If you're not consistent, it doesn't, it's
Well,
like a
okay,
business, you have to have regular hours.
And we want to make sure that it's all of what we've talked about so far. It's all up to date. So right then and there, we can show people what it's.
I think
all about.
we should work on the map before we consider doing this, and I think we should
Exactly.
also work on the website. So that as we're directing people to the information, it's something that's worthy of being reviewed.
So
Well, the map isn't.
I think
everybody needs to start sending Fred emails about website. I mean, that's basically what he asked for.
Yeah,
Send him emails when you find links that don't work or where you think links should exist that don't exist. And he'll kind of gather all the little inputs and hopefully make the changes where everybody's happy with the website. So that's something that you all can do on your own time, and it's not a big discussion to say, hey, Fred, I noticed this link is broken, and notice the map always points to the park for the description when you click on these houses, things like that. And then, like I said, at the next meeting, bring a list of items that you think might be good to hand out at the table, and then you can all distill down your ideas into a manageable group. And then Fred can put together those items. Okay, so at this point, there's a little housekeeping. As I said, this is my last meeting. I am going to make a recommendation for my successor. You can take that recommendation for what it's worth or what it's not worth.
Where do you recommend it?
Commissioner Poivera.
Oh. Hi. So what does that look like as far as filling that chair? What are the next steps for that?
Well, you all have to, there has to be a nomination if somebody likes that idea, if somebody doesn't like that idea, nominate someone else. And there has to be a second, and there's a discussion and a vote.
Are you
I
nominating
think she meant
No,
more,
I
what does it look
can't, I
like?
can't nominate, all I can do is make a recommendation.
I think she meant more, what does it look like if she's or if she's voted into that space, what does it entail her doing?
I don't know, her question was the process right now.
Yeah, so what's the next step for the city staff as far, like, when will
Staff's
we
not
expect?
involved in
It'll just be the city council,
it. No, that's us,
just that.
that's us.
So do we do that on the next meeting?
No.
No, now.
We probably, that's what I mean, what does it look like? You're it.
So what it looks like is,
It's
you
not-
folks can nominate people to fill a position.
Do we do that now?
You can do it now if you'd like, yeah.
Point of order, you could do it now, you could also wait until the next meeting,
You could.
because you will possibly have 2 new members by the next meeting.
But who's gonna call us to order?
The
The
vice chair,
co-chair.
Who's the vice chair?
Commissioner Flores.
Oh, okay.
My recommendation is to fill it tonight. If we have 2 members, they're not gonna know anything about really anybody here or what's going on.
That's true, yeah.
Well, but
But like I said, you can do what
that's
you want.
not, yeah.
I can't make a nomination, I'm the chair, I could if I step down, but I think that would be unfair. I just made my recommendation.
Is this, now can somebody nominate themselves?
I would assume so.
Karen knows more about nominating.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there anybody else that would be interested in the chair? Crickets.
I nominate Liz Weber to be the chair.
We have a
I,
recommendation, is there a second?
I wanted to nominate somebody.
How do you do that? Do you go through one and then, or have everybody in one split? You're not sure?
Yeah, we haven't gone through that before. And 2 separate nominations, and then whoever
Discuss and vote.
discusses vote, yeah.
Okay, so do we go with the other nomination or look for a second on the first one and then take the other nomination?
Yeah, second on the first one.
Okay, so I have a motion to nominate Commissioner Boyd. Is there a second?
Crickets.
Okay. Yes,
So wait, just point of order, right? Again, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Couldn't Commissioner,
you could nominate, you could second it.
couldn't she have seconded herself?
Yeah, she could.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can second it.
Did you change your mind?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't change my mind either.
Oh, okay.
I'm still just hanging out there with that.
Okay.
I didn't even hear the other,
Is there another option?
There probably will be, but we're going through, we go through and, so is there a second?
Second myself, I guess.
You can.
Okay.
Okay, so now do I take the other nomination and look for a second on that, and then we discuss?
That's, I think so, and then,
New territory, huh?
yeah, new territory for me, I'm sorry, I don't know how this works, so I would say that if there is a nomination and a second on another person, then you would ask for a vote on the first one, and we would count how many there are, and then ask for a vote on the second one, count how many those are, and then whoever has the largest number is the chair.
Well, actually, after a motion, it's usually discussion for a vote.
Okay.
Okay, did you have a?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Jennifer, Commissioner Jennifer Flores.
Okay, is there a second?
Oh, I second that. She's seconded it.
And did?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay, so we have two nominations. Is there any discussions? We have two nominations. Any discussions, any questions?
Well, both of them are excellent candidates.
I mean, Jennifer's been sitting on this commission a lot longer than I have, clearly, so that would be one thing I would point out.
Well, I've been sitting here 8 years. I think you are the best candidate to be chair of everyone here. Joan, how long have you been here? You were here a long time when I got
16
here.
years,
So,
did something like that.
yeah, so we've got 24 years of experience on the commission, saying you're probably the best candidate for the position. Okay, any other discussion?
Jennifer, is there anything you'd like to say?
No, I mean, I get it, I'm spicy, and some people don't like it, but I think it's important in city government to have people that don't just go with the flow all the time. So take me as I am, or don't take me at all.
And how do we know that the two applicants that we have might be better suited, not be better suited? You know, we assume that they're gonna be green or whatever, but that doesn't mean that they,
I think
have no
it
experience.
would be a leap of faith to think that somebody walking in on the first day would be suitable to chairperson.
I mean, I know one of the applicants personally, and she is
At this stage, she's an applicant, we don't, there's been a lot of applicants
yeah.
that never even ended up on the commission.
Yeah, but if you applied in wherever you're going, if you applied there and you walked in, chances are good you'd know a lot more than a lot of people there, so I don't think it's fair to just assume
That's
the
correct.
people that we're getting won't know.
And I happen to know that one of the applicants is, you know, she owns a historical home and is very committed to the city, and I just think that we should have all of the options in front of us, but I respect your advice and your opinion, you know.
Well, let me ask you this, if I can. Sorry, do both of you feel comfortable in your time and some commitment? You're new, I mean, you know what you have to put into this whole thing, I don't know about them. You probably have enough time here that you know kind of what you have to do.
There's very little additional time constraints on a chair. It's all about needing to be a moderator for the meetings, keeping the meetings on track, keeping decorum at the meetings. Those kind of things, but as far as time constraints, I'm doing the same thing that you guys should be doing, reading about historic preservation and paying attention. Now, one thing I do want to mention is everybody needs to pay attention to what's going on around town. I've noticed a lot of things over the years, and it seems like they kind of, no one else seems to, am I right, Fred? Am I the only one seeing a lot of things?
No, I mean, Commissioner Flores, called about the building behind Jubilee.
Excellent.
So
I have
that,
another one, so there's.
Okay. Because I brought up stuff to Fred that didn't need commission attention, that did need his attention. I didn't know if it was happening or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I encourage everybody to pay attention. The last thing I called Fred about, I noticed because I saw there was red stained sidewalks by a brick building. Does anyone know why that's a huge red flag? It's brick dust. You get brick dust when you drill in the brick. Guess what you're not supposed to do? Drill in the brick.
Or leave the dust laying around. Sweep it up.
That's it, not quite the obvious. Okay, so we're at the point, do you all want to postpone the vote? Or do you want to take a vote?
Well, I mean, it appears that we're kind of like split down the middle, right?
I don't know, we haven't voted.
I think we should finish it up, like, tonight. In other words, I think we should vote and we should decide tonight.
And if you get someone in 6 months, one of these potential new members, you can always change horses midstream.
Right.
Okay, so the first motion was for Commissioner Boyer. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So if everybody would raise their hands so I can see to record the vote. Thank you.
Okay, those in favor of Commissioner Flores? We got nowhere.
Right.
Well, okay, so Jennifer, you are right now,
She's, in the absence of a chair, she will act as chair.
all right, so. Yes. So tomorrow, next month, you could come in and act as chair.
She can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it seems like if that's the case,
What do we do if the?
Next month is also my last meeting, so.
Okay, all right, so we really.
So I'm here next month,
Switch
and
it
then I'm a belly up.
well, okay.
John, don't say that.
So we should decide what's.
I think that we
I'll be here-
should.
I'll be here next month, and then we'll have 7 people, so it won't be a tie.
Well, we're gonna have some people that don't know anything.
Your resignation is effective March 1st.
No, I said 31st.
It says March 1st.
Does it really?
Yes.
Did you want to not check that?
Did you want to make any incorrection?
I seriously did not catch
You wanna mark
that.
it out?
I didn't say 31st.
I don't have a copy, so I can't cut it.
We'll get you the official copy after he makes the correction.
Sit there and I look at it 3 times.
Was it a Freudian slip?
You really wanna get away that quick?
I'll give it to you on the way out.
Thank you.
I've been dragging this out for years anyway.
So I'll just say, like, John came to us last year in January and said,
He's gonna be.
I wanna be done, and we're like, one more month, John,
Yeah.
one more month, and he has stuck with us for
Did you
14
change
months.
Fred's?
And
Did you
so,
change Fred's copy?
Well,
don't worry, no one will see this.
Okay,
Anyway, I think we should resolve it now before everything changes.
well, we've got an impasse unless somebody wants to change their vote.
Okay.
And so what happens with an impasse?
Right now, then the next meeting, Commissioner Flores will act as chair.
right, and there will be 5 people here and 2 new ones.
but don't know
Maybe
anything.
7 people, so it won't be a tie.
Right.
Well,
So these two new people, has the mayor announced them?
No.
No, and
Okay,
there,
Right, so
And
that's
there will still-
speculative anyway.
that would, oh, I see, because you'll be here, never mind.
okay, so just because there's 2 applicants does not mean you're gonna have 2 new commissioners.
One is
We're
getting
hopeful.
appointed next,
Fresh blood.
tomorrow night, correct?
Could
Yes.
one just decide?
Okay, so,
And the other one, I let the mayor know that, Mr. Tidmore was going to be resigning. And then we received another application today. And so he is willing to put that other application at the council meeting tomorrow night, so there would be 2.
okay, so they are moving forward, because there's been applications before that never made it past the application stage.
So they are moving
The other
forward.
point on this is that it'll very soon be down to 4 people plus these 2 new ones, and you'll still be 1 seat short.
Well, okay,
So
the
you
question.
still need another person, so that doesn't
Right.
fill it back up.
Well, so if one of you would decide that they, Jennifer, if you would decide that you wanted to stay as, what's your title now?
Vice Chair?
Vice Chair? If you wanted to stay as Vice Chair? Or do you want to be Vice Chair?
Well, I think she's expressed the desire to not be vice chair.
Okay, would you be Vice Chair?
I'm willing to go wherever you feel is
All right,
best.
so let's do, can we void the voting and Liz, I will propose that nominate Liz for the Vice Chair. How's that?
No, we have to fill the chair.
Yeah.
The vice chair position is not open,
Well, why not?
because Jennifer's the vice chair.
Well,
You have to fill the chair first and then make a vacancy at the vice chair. You can fill the vice chair. And there's a tie, so we can't fill the chair right now.
right.
So you'll be here next month as the chair, because that's what your role is, and then we take another vote at that time.
Yeah.
That's things
New
like,
nominations and new votes with
With different,
different people here.
that don't know it. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I was suggesting filling it this meeting, because like I said, you've got 24, right now, you've got 24 years of board experience walking out the door.
Right.
Apparently, the 24 years experience doesn't carry that much weight though.
Well, it's, we're out the door.
Right.
All right, so moving along,
Hang on,
oh,
so are we done? Is it just gonna? There's nobody wants to change their vote.
Nothing is,
Okay,
let's not be.
so we're done with that. No chair was elected.
No.
Okay,
so moving along then, one thing that we did have for you is a video this time. And, so let's go ahead and watch the video, and then I can just point you to where you can find some of the resources that they talk about in the video.
dear?
Absolutely. If you go to the Library of Congress website, so Karen, if you could do that for me, Library of Congress website, and then just Google, Independence, Oregon Sanborn maps. You could search Sanborn maps on there and then Independence, Oregon, and then just go ahead and click it, and you can see there's all sorts of maps from Independence, from various years. It's in 1913 right there. So you can get a sense of what was going on in the community in 1913. Some of the things, so this is sort of like the index page where it shows you the various maps that they call out. There's cool things going on, like one thing that so Goodwood, if you go to like the one around East Street over here, it was an industrial area. As we look at East Street. So anyways, feel free to explore those, and
I'm curious, when did they stop making Sanborn maps?
pretty much 1913. So this one right here sort of shows you what's going on around East Street, right? Isn't that what I'm seeing up there? Don't I see a rail line?
Is that all the
Oh, no, 1913, that's not it, no. I thought I was seeing a that's Ash Creek. There's really cool things that you see from. My last job, we took these and we blew them up and we just decorated our conference room with them. Just of various communities in Lewis County, Washington, just so people could sort of see some of the history of the towns. So, oh yeah, stop at that one. Check it out. That circular building right there, you want to zoom in on that circular building? Oh. You missed it.
Tower?
Check it out. Skating rink.
Wow, where was that?
That's where you wouldn't expect it. It's down by 7th Street. That's like 7th and C.
Is that Sam?
Is that the one that was down by the school or whatever?
There's Fifth,
There's between 5th and 6th on C.
yeah, on C Street.
What is it again? No,
Isn't that amazing?
Climate change?
I don't think it was, I want to say it was roller skating rink is what I would imagine, but maybe I'm wrong.
You're probably right.
Oh, rather
It
than.
was roller skating, yeah.
On stage and scenery.
When, you know that one structure on the way down to Corvallis is, like an old roller derby rink?
Yeah,
When was roller derby hot?
I don't.
In the 80s.
50s.
Earlier, the one down in,
Yeah, but that wasn't roller derby, it was just a roller skating rink, like.
oh, that was a
when
derby down
Canada
there.
Dare was going on, it was roller
Wasn't
skating.
it during World War II?
Okay, so they changed it to derby. It was just a rink there.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, it was.
Interesting.
Cool, and I'll try and find stuff like that. I've tried to find videos about historic preservation and in turn, compared to other planning topics. It's slim pickings for good historic preservation videos, but
just go to the Secretary of the Interior and Historic Preservation, and there's enough to keep you busy.
oh yeah, tons of
There's
resources in terms
if you
of.
were an avid reader, and you get finished there, go to Ship Up.
That's right.
You get finished there, go to Fred, he'll find something. Or go to the library.
Cool.
Okay, are we all done?